Well, let's go over to Ben, who's a first-time caller, actually. He joins us on the show. Afternoon, Ben.
How you going, guys? All right?
Hey, yeah, Ben. Very well. Another good win for you last night. Wasn't the most exciting I've seen Arsenal, but a good win as when you're chasing Liverpool. What do you make in terms of what we're saying about the league this year? Because obviously the last couple of seasons you've been so close.
I think you're totally right, and I think what you just saying there about if Arsenal finish a point off, we finished second the last 2 years in a row. If we finish second again behind the Man City team that have dropped so far off of it, you've really got to think, is Arteta the right man to win the league at Arsenal?
That's interesting, because at the end of the day, he has brought Arsenal back. He's brought Arsenal back to where Arsenal are supposed to be.
Well, in the conversation every year, year on year, to win the title.
Yeah, he has, but, I mean, we're talking about City have dropped off. It's almost like people forget about Liverpool. This time last year, Liverpool were, 5 points clear and played Arsenal at the Emirates, had the opportunity to go 8 points clear.
Yeah.
And Arsenal won that game and Liverpool fell away. Now, I'm not saying Liverpool are going to have a blip. At some point through this season, they probably will have a blip, But I just think with Man City falling away so far, this has to be the year that Arsenal win the league. And if they don't, I mean, I go back and now look at the last 2 seasons. Why have Arsenal not bought a number 9?
Yeah, this is a big issue, especially when you had people like Ivan Toney available.
For me, I just think Arsenal, this was their one big opportunity. No one saw City falling away the way they have.
Ben, do you think Mikel Arteta has to take some of the blame for Saka picking up an injury, playing him week in, week out, every single game?
No. That's just unfortunate. Listen, he's our best player. You're going to play him every week.
But I heard a ridiculous
game in the Premier League.
No, there's not.
Say, we're going to play, whoever away from home, one of the teams lesser down the table, and say, well, yes, you'll look at games and think, yes, we should pick up 3 points, but anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League. So you're going to play your best players every week.
But I did hear a stat the other day. I think if you look at Saka, he's played something like 22,000 minutes in comparison to, say, Cole Palmer's 11,000 or something. A really interesting stat. There's one particular Arsenal YouTuber, content creator, I forget his name, he's quite...
I don't watch any of them.
Anyways, one of them is quite anti-Arteta, and he talked about Saka, and he said, and he's talked about it for a couple of years, he goes, he's the type of player that will be broken by 24 if you don't utilise him properly. And, like you said, injuries can happen to anyone. But if this is I believe was it a grade 3 tear? You know more than me. You've been there. What was a grade 3 tear in terms of a hamstring?
Well, there's grade 1, which is a minor strain. Then there's grade 3, which is almost torn off the bone. And it's gonna be a couple of months, 6 to 8 weeks. And I think they're reporting that. Look, it's unfortunate, and these things can happen whether it's your first game or whether it's your 50th game of the season. It's just...
Look at Odegaard. I ain't seen him play all season for Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. But there's opportunity. I feel there's been opportunities to rest Saka, or been opportunities to take him off after an hour, but he keeps going and going and going.
Let's get Jamie, the Arsenal fan, on. He can answer. He knows better than us. How you doing, Jamie?
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah, good, boys. How you both?
Good,
very
you.
well. Do you think, in terms of what Darren's saying about Saka and the way that Arteta's used him, listen... We're Spurs fans, and we can appreciate how good Saka is. I wouldn't want him off the pitch because he's that good.
Yeah.
It would be like replacing Son for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like replacing, at the moment, Kulusevski.
Yeah,
he's playing out of his skin, and for you guys at the moment. Which it comes around. These players, once they get on the scoring, they start playing. They do really play well. Saka he had a season where he sort of, started going slowly. Then he hit some great numbers. And he's overplayed, but he's overplayed because he's that good.
Yeah.
Without that player on the pitch, you looked at last night's performance, and I'm from Felixstowe, so Darren probably knows Felixstowe quite well.
Yeah,
from down the road from Ipswich, and I've got a real soft spot for Ipswich because they're my local team. I've always been an Arsenal fan, but last night I was watching and seeing Smodic waste a couple of chances. You sort of think, go on, just have a go, and it just seemed like they just didn't want to put a glove on Arsenal last night, but. We just looked, I don't know, we looked like we were going to win the game, but it was just going to be a 1-0, and it was boring. It was a boring game. I sat and watched it with the wife, and I just thought to myself, I wish we did have someone on there to get 6 or 7 goals, but we've won 1-0. We got 3 points. I don't really know what more you have to do.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see those performances like Liverpool are putting in. But then with listen to the call before with Ben, and rightfully said, they will have a blip. But Arsenal will have another blip as well.
You know what, Jamie? You are right. A win's a win. 1-0, boring win, or a 6-3 that Liverpool turned Spurs over. An exciting. A win's a win. But like we said, you've lost Saka now, and I felt last night against Ipswich. Of course, I've got the affinity with Ipswich as well. But I think with Saka playing, it would have been a comfortable win. So now, what do you do in January? What do you go out and try and replace?
They've got players there. Look at that young lad on the bench. Is he good enough yet to step in? Nanweri.
Yeah.
Is he good enough? I'd give him a chance. I think we do need a number 9. I do think, if we're going to kill games off, I think we do. I mean, Havertz is turning good. He's, getting some goals, but he's not ever going to be, we're never going to get an Henry. We spoke about that at the top of the show when you were saying he's, world class. Salah is brilliant. But Salah seems to turn it on when it's contract time.
Yeah.
So he's been good. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. He is up there. He's one of the best 10 players in the Premier League of all time. Let's not, make no bones about it. Like De Bruyne. De Bruyne is having a terrible season. Man City are having a terrible season. Everybody loves watching it because when United had that bad time, everybody loves watching it. When Arsenal had that bad time, it's the same thing. It's cyclical. I can't think of the word cyclical, where it goes round and round, and one team will be good for a few years, then. We've sort of ruined our chances the last 2 years. Is Arteta good enough to take us to the title, or has he
run his course
as far as he can go?
Yeah.
And he's done a brilliant job. You're right. He's learned from mistakes. He's done a brilliant job. He's got us to where he's got us. Is there someone that has to then take us over the finish line? And that could be his thing. If he's took us as far as he can, let's say Pep walks and City want him, he'd go because you would go. At the moment, they're the club with all the trophies. They're not. I wouldn't say they're a bigger club than Man United or Liverpool, for instance, but they are a big club at the moment, and they're the club that's in the eye. And seeing them not do well at the moment, seeing Haaland especially miss a penalty, is great. Apart from my fantasy Premier League,
especially after the stay humble comments after the Arsenal game, I bet, Jay. Thanks very much.
I'd love Son off you guys. If we could have him, that'd be great. We'll take him for a season.
Mate, do you know what, Sonny? Watching Sonny is quite upsetting. It's like when we watched Hugo Lloris a couple of seasons ago, and you go, "Uh-oh." As
he run his course.
I think it's happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. Jay, thanks. Great call.
Top man, Jay.
Loads of great calls coming in from Arsenal fans. Thank you so much. As I said, listen, just because there's 2 Spurs fans here, save space. We are real. We'll keep it real. We know how far ahead.
I'd rather talk about Arsenal than Spurs at the minute.
I know, because we know how further ahead Arsenal are than Spurs in the Premier League right now. And there was a conversation, give it 5-6 years ago, when Pochettino was in charge, and St. Tottenham Day stopped, where we were competing against one another. Adu came in with Arteta, re-revolutionised Arsenal's football club, and took them to where they belong, which is at the top end of the table.
And that's where we want to be.
And that's where we'd love to be, right? But there has to come a point where that expectation and the promise turns into a reality of winning a trophy, because for a club like Arsenal, not winning the Premier League in such a long time is a problem for them and their supporters as they're used to the success. So keep going, giving us the calls, 03717 22 3344. Arsenal fans, keep them coming in. You've been fantastic.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.